What's up, guys? Dubbleaction here with a tabletop review of my Smith & Wesson M&P9c. That's Military and Police 9mm Compact, M&P9c. This is the little brother to the Smith & Wesson M&P9. The only differences are the shorter barrel. I think the full size has a 4.5 inch or 4.25 inch barrel. This has a 3.5 inch barrel. The grip is an inch shorter on this than the full size, and the tang here is shorter. The full size sticks out a little bit more like a beaver tail. This doesn't have that for the sake of compactness. Other than that, it's identical. Operates exactly the same. The functions are all identical. The slide, the Smith & Wesson calls this slide, it's a black melanite finish on there. It's supposed to be harder than chrome, something like 10 times harder than chrome or something like that. Very rust resistant. I haven't had a problem with rust or anything like that. It's even the coloring isn't wearing off from holster wear. You don't see any signs of holster wear or anything like that on this. Very hard finish. The ergonomics I like. It's got this palm swell here, which you can change out. Well, first thing, let's make this weapon safe. You can look down in there. There's no magazine in the mag well. There is nothing in the chamber. It's a safe weapon. The palm swells are interchangeable. You take this out. This is your takedown tool. You use this for field stripping. I'll show you that in a minute. But it also retains your back strap. It comes with 3 of these, a small, medium, and a large. The medium is the one that comes on it when you buy it. The small and the large one are in the box. But the medium fits my hand. I have about average size hands, and it fits me pretty good. The scalloping on the slide here is kind of unique. You don't see, I haven't seen it on any other guns, where it's kind of, the serrations on the slide are a lot more aggressive, where you can really get a positive grip on that when you're going to rack it. It's got an ambidextrous slide release right here, and on the other side for left-handed shooters. It's got that. It's got a Picatinny rail. This gun is very similar in size and weight to the Glock 26. But the Glock 26 does not have a Picatinny rail, so that's one advantage to the Smith & Wesson over that. Magazine capacity, it holds 12 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, 12 plus 1. The sights, it's got your standard, I think they call those Weaver sights. I could be wrong about that. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments if I am, and I welcome that. If I say something that's not accurate, by all means, please correct me in my comments, and I will learn from it. I am by no means a gun guru. I'm just a guy who likes guns. My terminology may not always be right, but I know what I'm talking about, and you can probably figure out what I'm trying to say too. So let's not get all crazy about that. It's got this trigger safety where your finger has to be firmly on this trigger. Glock has kind of the same concept with that USA trigger. They call it Ultra Safe Action trigger. This is kind of the same concept here, only it's just implemented differently. Instead of the little skinny trigger in the middle of the big trigger that the Glock has, this has a little pivot here in the middle where the bottom part of the trigger moves first, and then the rest of it comes back. You can see that. But if you don't move this bottom part, then the top part will not go back. You have to move the bottom part first, and then the trigger will go back the rest of the way. The magazine disconnect, the magazine release, whatever you want to call it, this can be changed from right-handed to left-handed. You just have to disconnect it inside. You can pull it right out, turn it around, and it can be moved over for a left-handed shooter. Takedown procedures. Like I said, this is your takedown tool. Oh, I forgot to talk about the magazine disconnect safety. This weapon will not fire if there is not a magazine locked in to the magazine well. There's a lever, there's a little actuation lever inside. You'll see it when I get it taken apart. That the magazine pushes up and it actually actuates so the sear can function. But if there's no magazine in there, it will not fire, even if there's a round in the chamber. So that's a nice little feature. Some people like it, some people don't. It's boils down to personal preference. I like it. I think it can be handy if used properly. Some people don't like it. You're entitled to your opinion. Even if it doesn't agree with mine, you can be wrong if you want to. Just kidding. Anyway, take down. You use your little tool here and you move your sear deactivation lever. You move that down with the tool. You can't do it with your finger, but a lot of times I'll just use a pocket knife or something like that, because this is kind of a pain in the butt to get out. It's just easier to whip out your pocket knife and do it that way. So that's what I do most of the time. I just wanted to take this out to show you, and to show you how to do the back strap as well. So you move your sear deactivation lever down, you flip your takedown lever 90 degrees, and then you just pull back a little bit and slide the slide right off. And I'll show you that magazine disconnect safety. Here's your sear deactivation lever that we just moved with this. That's this little question mark shaped one here. I don't know if you can see it or not. I hope you can. And this here, the one right next to it, is your magazine disconnect. You can see, I hope you can see it, that as I push this up, this moves over. So when I push this up, this moves over, allowing this to make contact with the striker block up in the slide here. So if this doesn't move over, the gun will not fire, and this won't move over unless there's a magazine firmly inserted into the magazine well. So there's your frame, and then you take your spring out, you take your barrel out, and that's it. That's all there is to it. It's field stripped. You can clean it now, do whatever you got to do, and then put it back together. Goes back together even more easy than it came apart. There's that. Make sure it's lined up just like a Glock or anything. It's got these 4 points here that slide into the grooves in the slide, and that's that. It's back together, and that's that. And you can put your little tool back in here. It's got this little notch here, fits in like that. You push it all the way in and then turn it 90 degrees. Boom, there you go. Put your magazine back in. You're ready to rock and roll. And that's the Smith & Wesson M&P9c. Just in case anybody's wondering about these bandages on my arms, I got bit by a dog. We got a dog from a rescue for home defense. There was a violent crime that occurred just down the street from our house in our quiet little neighborhood. So since I work nights, we thought we'd get a dog for home defense, make my wife feel a little bit safer in the house when I'm not home. And boy, did that backfire. The dog was bonded real well with my wife, tolerated the kids, did not like me one little bit, as we can see here. I got the scars to prove it. Needless to say, we don't have that dog anymore. We had that dog for a few days, and that's that. That was enough of that. Once she and I had a little scuffle, and I ended up having to apply pressure to wounds to stop bleeding. I said, yeah, that's enough of that dog. No, I didn't shoot her, as tempted as I was to shoot the dog. No, we didn't do that. We just brought her back to where we got her from. And now we're looking for another dog. So anyway, enough of that. I hope this video was informative, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.